If you think estate planning is something you can put off until later, until you're older, wealthier, retired, or facing a major life change, you are very much not alone. That belief is one of the most common things I hear, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Most of us grow up seeing estate planning framed as something older people do, or something that only matters if you have a lot of money or complicated assets. But here's what I want to gently challenge today. Estate planning isn't really about death. It's about decision making. And if you're an adult, you already have decisions that would need to be made if something unexpected happened. Today's episode is about why every Texas adult needs an estate plan, even if you think you don't, and the myths that keep people stuck or overwhelmed before they ever get started. Welcome to POMpod, the Peace of Mind podcast, where we talk about estate planning in a way that's clear, human, and actually useful. I'm Travis from Gasper Law in Texas. My work focuses on helping people protect themselves and the people they love without fear-based messaging, pressure tactics, or unnecessary legal jargon. This podcast is about clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Let's get into it. Before we talk about myths, I want to talk about why estate planning feels so intimidating in the first place. Most people were never taught what estate planning actually does. Instead, we inherit vague ideas. Wills are about death, trusts are for rich people, powers of attorney are something you'll deal with later. And because no one explains how these documents work in real life, people fill in the gaps with assumptions. Those assumptions turn into myths, and those myths keep people stuck. Another reason estate planning feels hard is emotional. It touches on vulnerability, responsibility, and sometimes difficult family dynamics. It forces us to think about scenarios we'd rather avoid. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, anxious, or resistant to estate planning, that doesn't mean you're irresponsible. It means you're human. My goal today is to make this topic feel more grounded, more accessible, and more doable. This is the biggest myth I hear. I'm too young to need an estate plan. Usually what people mean is I'm healthy, or I don't expect anything bad to happen, or this feels premature. And again, that reaction makes sense. But here's the key issue. Estate planning isn't about predicting the future. It's about preparing for uncertainty. Emergencies don't check your age. Illness doesn't ask how old you are. Accidents don't wait until retirement. Estate planning at a younger age is less about death and more about incapacity, times when you're alive but unable to speak for yourself. Think about situations like being in a car accident, a sudden medical emergency, complications from surgery, a temporary cognitive or physical incapacity. In moments like that, decisions still need to be made. Medical providers need direction. Bills still need to be paid. Someone needs legal authority to act. Without an estate plan, the people you trust may not actually have the authority they need. In Texas, that can mean delays, court involvement, or decisions being made by default rules that don't reflect your wishes. Estate planning when you're younger is really about saying, if I can't advocate for myself, I want these specific people to step in. That's not morbid. That's responsible self-care. Another thing people don't realize is that waiting often makes estate planning more complicated, not less. Life tends to get fuller over time. Relationships deepen. Responsibilities grow. Family structures evolve. When you wait, you're more likely to face planning during a crisis or major transition. That's when stress is highest and decision-making is hardest. Starting early gives you more time to think, more flexibility, more control, less pressure. Estate planning doesn't lock you into anything forever. Documents can be updated. Plans can evolve. But having something in place is almost always better than having nothing. The second myth is especially common among married couples. My spouse can just handle it. This one surprises people because it feels intuitive. You're married, you share a life, you trust each other completely. Why wouldn't your spouse automatically have authority? In Texas, marriage does not automatically grant full decision-making authority, especially when it comes to medical and financial matters. Without a medical power of attorney, your spouse may not be able to access certain medical information. They may not be able to consent to or refuse treatment. Healthcare providers may be limited in what they can share. Without a financial power of attorney, your spouse may not be able to manage accounts in your name. They may not be able to sign legal or financial documents. They may have to go through court to obtain authority. That court process, called guardianship, is time-consuming, expensive, and emotionally draining. And here's the part people don't expect. This can happen even in healthy, loving relationships with no conflict. The law isn't questioning your relationship. It's simply following default rules. Estate planning fills in those gaps. It allows you to say, clearly and legally, this is the person I trust to act for me. That clarity is a gift, especially in moments when your loved ones are already stressed or scared. The third myth is rooted in a misunderstanding of what estate planning is really about. I don't have enough assets to need an estate plan. When people say this, they're usually thinking about money, bank accounts, property, investments. But estate planning isn't just about money. It's about responsibility and relationships. It's about who can make decisions, who steps in during emergencies, who has authority, who you trust. If you have children, estate planning matters. If you have a partner, it matters. If you have pets, chosen family, or people who rely on you, it matters. Even if your estate feels small, the impact of uncertainty can be huge. Estate planning allows you to name guardians for minor children, appoint decision makers you trust, reduce conflict and confusion, protect chosen family relationships. This is especially important for LGBTQ+ individuals and families, where default legal assumptions don't always align with lived reality. Estate planning isn't about how much you have, it's about who matters. So if estate planning isn't about age, wealth, or expecting something bad, what is it really about? Estate planning is about clarity. It answers questions like, who makes decisions if I can't? Who should be involved and who shouldn't? What values and priorities matter the most to me? A well-crafted estate plan reduces confusion, avoids unnecessary court involvement, gives loved ones guidance, creates peace of mind. And it's not static. A good plan grows with you. As your life changes, marriage, kids, moves, health changes, your plan can change too. Estate planning should feel supportive, not restrictive. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. Most people don't. Estate planning isn't about perfection. It's about making thoughtful decisions with the information you have right now. If you'd like to learn more, you can listen to more episodes of POMpod, or you can book a peace of mind planning session with our team to talk through what makes sense for your life today. There's no pressure, just guidance and clarity. Thanks for spending this time with me. And remember, estate planning isn't about preparing for the worst. It's about making things easier for the people you love. I'll talk to you next week.